Good day. This is Global Watch on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. I am Abigail Okwande. At least 34 people have died and dozens have been injured in a train crash near the Toroko Gorge scenic area in eastern Taiwan. Reports from local media said a truck fell from a cliff and landed on a rail where a train carrying passengers smashed into it. According to reports, there were 350 passengers on the train when the accident happened, with most of the train still trapped in the tunnel, and passengers who escaped were forced to scale doors, windows, and roofs to reach safety. The crash happened on the first day of the 4-day Tomb Sweeping Festival, a religious festival that takes place annually. People travel to their hometowns for family gatherings and to worship at the graves of their ancestors. Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen said emergency services have been fully mobilized to rescue and assist the passengers and railway staffs affected. We will continue to do everything we can to ensure their safety in the wake of this heartbreaking incident, he said. The last major rail crash in Taiwan was in 2018, when a train derailed while rounding a tight corner on the northeast coast. The crash killed at least 18 people and injured nearly 200. A fire has destroyed more than 20 shops in a market close to a Rohingya refugee camp in the southern Bangladesh and killed at least 3 people. Ahmad Sanjur Moshed, the local police chief, said the dead bodies were found after firefighters put out the fire. One of the owners of the burnt shop confirmed those killed were his staff. Mdadul Haque, an official with the fire service and civil defense, said it took more than 3 hours to get the fire under control. He also said there were several injured people. It was not clear how the fire began, but it started early on Friday when the refugees were asleep. This was after a devastating fire last month in the camp that killed 15 people, injured 560, and made about 45,000 homeless. The Bangladeshi government and aid agencies announced that they started rebuilding the shelters after the massive fire of last month. Authorities have moved about 13,000 refugees to an island in recent months, promising them a better life. The island has been prepared by the government to accommodate 100,000 refugees. They also said their effort to move more refugees will continue. Bangladesh has helped shelter more than 1 million Rohingya Muslims who fled Myanmar in 2017 in a major crackdown by the country's military. A service provider said the military ordered wireless broadband internet services to be shut down in Myanmar as protesters continue to defy the threat of lethal violence to oppose the junta's regime. Hundreds of civilians have been killed in the protest since February 1 coup, and protesters have used social media as a tool in publicizing the excess use of force by the military and to organize resistance to their rule. The military did not announce or explain its order to telecom firms to cut wireless broadband. Protesters shared radio frequencies, offline internet resources, and providers of text message news alerts to try to keep communication going. They also spread a call for a flower strike, a bus stop where demonstrators killed by security forces had departed on their last journeys. In a report, New York-based Human Rights Watch said the Myanmar's military has forcibly made hundreds of people, including politicians, election officials, journalists, activists, and protesters, disappear. They have also refused to confirm their whereabouts or allow them see lawyers or family members in violation of international law. The crisis in Myanmar has escalated in the past week, both in the number of protesters killed and with military airstrikes against the people of Karen in their homeland along Thailand's border. The United Kingdom has reported 30 cases of rare blood clots after using the AstraZeneca vaccine against coronavirus. Up to and including 24th March, we have received 22 reports of cerebral venous sinus thrombosis and 8 reports of other thrombosis events with low platelets out of a total of 18.1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine AstraZeneca given by that date. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, in a statement released on Thursday, said. According to the statement, the UK reported about 5 of thrombosis cases in March after using the AstraZeneca vaccines. The European Medicine Agency had announced that the AstraZeneca coronavirus is safe and effective for use against the virus. This was after some EU countries temporarily suspended the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine based on reports of rare blood coagulation disorders in persons who had gotten the jab. However, many leaders of the EU countries, including UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, later took the AstraZeneca vaccine to restore trust of people in the vaccine after being assured that the vaccine is not associated with an increase in the overall risk of blood clots in those who have taken it. You are watching Global Watch. Coming up next is business and sports, so stay tuned. Welcome back. You are watching Global Watch on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. Prime Minister Mark Rutte of Dutch has overcome one of the biggest political battles of his time in power as he narrowly wins a no-confidence vote in parliament. This was after leaders of the opposition party accused him of lying and called him to resign as lawmakers doubted his ability to form a new cabinet. He remains under pressure after parliament adopted a formal motion of disapproval, which noted he had not said the truth during the talks. Parliament has given me a serious message, and I will try to be my very best to win back confidence, Rutte said. The Dutch Prime Minister is on his way to becoming Netherlands' longest-serving Prime Minister, as he had been in power for more than a decade. He has been named Teflon Mark for being able to survive scandals. Rutte's party, which is the People's Party for Freedom and Democracy, won the highest seat in last month's election based on his handling of the coronavirus pandemic, but were accused of lying about moves to sideline a troublesome member of parliament. This experience will have an effect on the direction of the incoming government, and there are no guarantees Mr. Rutte will be leading it. He must look for other parties ready to join him in forming the next coalition. 7 officers, including the death of a black jail inmate in Texas, have been fired. Jim Skinner, the Collin County Sheriff, said in a release that detention officers violated sheriff's office policies and procedures leading up to the death of Marvin Scott III. Authorities said the 26-year-old was arrested on the 14th of March at an outlet mall in Allen on a marijuana possession charge, and officers in Allen took Scott to a hospital because he was reportedly acting erratically. Mr. Scott was released and was taken to the county jail. While in jail, Scott began to exhibit some strange behavior. Detention officers put him on a restrained bed, used pepper spray on him, and covered his face with a spit mask. He became unresponsive at some point and was pronounced dead at a hospital. The medical examiner's office has not yet released the cause of Scott's death. According to Skinner's statement, the Texas Rangers are still investigating his death. His family members have said that he had schizophrenia and may have been suffering a mental health crisis. They have also hired a forensic pathologist to conduct an independent autopsy. Lee Merritt, the civil rights lawyer representing Scott's family, has said he thinks Scott was jailed for marijuana possession because he was black and was seen as a criminal rather than someone with a mental problem. Names and traces of the officers have yet been released. Asian market in business. Asian market rose on Friday following a record-breaking session on Wall Street. For the first time, it broke the 4,000 points barrier, while the Nasdaq and Dow Jones also made gains. Investors were buoyed by President Biden's new $2.3 trillion Investors were buoyed by President Biden's new $2.3 trillion infrastructure spending plan and growing optimism about the U.S. economy. Tokyo and Seoul markets were up more than 1%, while Shanghai was also positive territory. Trading was thin in Asia as the Hong Kong and Australian markets were closed for the Easter holiday. The latest highs in the U.S. point to renewed confidence among investors that the economic recovery is gaining pace. President Biden's mega rebuilding package, which follows the passage of a $1.9 trillion stimulus, has made investors more enthusiastic. A key measure of U.S. manufacturing activity also soared to its highest level in more than 37 years in March, a strong sign that a rebound is underway. The Institute for Supply Management said its index of national factory activity jumped to a reading of 64.7 last month from 60.8 in February. A reading above 50 indicates expansion in manufacturing, which accounts for 12% of the U.S. economy. India's leading run soccer in Test cricket, Shalin Tendulkar, has been admitted to hospital with coronavirus. The 47-year-old revealed last weekend that he had tested positive for COVID-19 and was at home quarantining with only mild symptoms. However, on Friday, he posted on his Twitter that he had been admitted as a precaution but hoped to be discharged in few days. He also thanked everyone for their wishes and their prayers. Mr. Tendulkar ended the tweet by sending his wishes to his fellow members of India's 2011 World Cup winning squad on the 10th anniversary of the victory against Sri Lanka. He scored a record 15,921 test runs for his country during the 24-year international career and is widely regarded as one of the game's most complete players. And that is it on Global Watch for today. For more updates, do visit our website at www.tostvnetwork.com to follow and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. I am Abigail Okwade. Remain safe.